welcome back to our F1 2020 Ferrari Return to Glory career mode, and today then we've got the team's home race, the Italian Grand Prix, and we're coming here then with a lot riding on this race then. So we're going to look at the standings now then. We've still got both cars then in the Drivers' Championship race, and we are leading the Constructors as well. So yeah, we're coming here then with a lot of expectation on our shoulders, even more than normal, and it's going to be a very high pressure weekend for us and the team then. And we've got nothing then in terms of upgrades to come, so yeah, just fast forward in time to the weekend now then. Here's how things are looking. Obviously we did get a bigger engine upgrade on the car before Belgium, but no progress other than that. So Mercedes then still leading the way there, and it's Red Bull, and we're close with racing point, but it's still relatively close in the top four, so hopefully we'll have a good chance then this weekend. And speaking of the weekend then, well, it's going to be a dry race, but qualifying then is going to be wet, or at least partially wet then. It's looking like we're going to have rain at the start of the session certainly, so that's certainly going to be something to contend with then early on in that session by the looks of things. As we got some upgrades on the car now then, not some upgrades, some resource points I should say, for hopefully some more upgrades then later on. And yeah, practice then went well as usual, getting some driver acclaim as well, and we'll just hope now then that we can do something good here then in qualifying. And yeah, here is that rain then that was forecast, so we'll see what happens then. Obviously we won't want to be running like a wet setup because the latter part of qualifying is going to be dry, and so is the race tomorrow, so we're going to be running with a fully dry setup here, so hopefully that won't be too much of an issue for us then, as I filled the car up then for a few laps and just went out then on a set of intermediate tyres just to see then what the conditions were like and if I could sort of just build up my pace a little bit here. Saw that Ricardo had the initial fast lap there. We were quite a bit off that though. We went fourth at that time. It was quickly bumped down to fifth there, and then a couple of laps later we managed to make a bit of an improvement finally, because yeah, that certainly wasn't, you know, a very convincing time before. We're down in 12th at the moment, and we do leapfrog the two Haas drivers as well as Carlos Sainz to move ourselves back up into the top 10. We can see now then, sort of by the end of that lap, the track is now starting to really dry off. The rain is starting to die down quite a bit, and you can see that just the track does look a bit drier, so there's a chance, and in fact that is indeed the case, and we will be going out on dry tyres here at the end. Now I was the last car out of the garage here, so I was hoping last car over the line and I'd have a good chance here then of salvaging my place in Q2. And what I didn't realise though was that the track is still quite greasy here, and there wasn't a lot of grip down into the first chicane. Had a little bit of a lock-up there, but hopefully it won't affect us too much then. But yeah, the track certainly is not fully suitable yet for slick tyres. I mean, it's certainly better for them than the Inters. As you see, Russell then has set the fast lap time so far there now then, and then that's quickly beaten by his teammate as well there. We are looking at the moment not too great, but we should keep on improving our time here then on the Delta. We saw that the Williams were in the 22, so we want to be improving a bit more than this, as we're obviously going to drop down to the bottom of the pack now then, because everyone else is setting their times. We will lift ourselves up. It's just a case of how much we will lift ourselves up then. We see Raikkonen on 22.1. We cross the line. We have not made it through the first session with 16th, and it's because George Russell actually crossed the line and managed to go around and set another lap time, and that was enough to push us out. I mean, we didn't really do the best job anyway. We were only going to be in 15th, but Russell went round again and set a lap time that knocked us out in the first qualifying session, and yet again our home race we got knocked out in Q1, and now at the team's home race we've also done the same. It's another disaster in qualifying. We just seem to be making a bit of a habit of this now then. Only 15th in Belgium, only 17th in Silverstone, and yep, 16th today. It's another Saturday disaster for us there then, and what a terrible place to have had that happen for us then. And yeah, we've got a lot of work to do now then tomorrow to rectify that, because that is certainly not at all what we or the team needed there. And yeah, we'll just have to hope now then, with, you know, no complications with the weather tomorrow, that things will go better, then we'll see what we can do as we now head then into the Italian Grand Prix.
We're back in Italy once again for another round of the Formula One World Championship, and what a great race is in store for us today here at the oldest circuit on the calendar. Monza hosted its first race all the way back in 1922. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6 mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about the scientist. No grip penalties, no mitigating circumstances, just a poor qualifying performance and a very disappointing start position for them today.
They'll have a sinking feeling as they look up from the cockpit and realise they're in a different postcode to the start line for sure. But the one positive they can hold on to is that the car is quick and they can make their way through the field.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Ricciardo, Sergio Perez, and Albon, Ocon, Gasly, Leclerc, and Daniel Kvyat, Stroll, Magnussen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Grosjean, Russell, the scientist, Lando Norris, and Kimi Raikkonen. Latifi and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
It's still a pretty standard strategy for us then, just always starting on the soft tyres and then going over to mediums. Obviously we will have the benefit of fresh soft tyres then, because we have plenty of sets left over from qualifying then, so yeah, we're definitely going to be on some fresh tyres then for the start, and hopefully that will play into our hands then compared to some of the cars further up, assuming we can catch up to them, which we should hopefully, because our race pace is always better than qualifying, which is always like the one consolation for us whenever we do qualify badly, is that we do know that it will at least get better for us in the race then, but yeah, a lot to do then, and just it's a disaster for the team really then. Leclerc only 9th, so I guess just in general the pace isn't really there for us this weekend of all weekends, and we've both got work to do now then to try and rectify it, because of course Hamilton then on pole and he could build up a big lead then today in the championship. We line up now then on the grid, just 2 rows behind us to fill, and then we will have the lights here, and the last cars are now lined up on the grid and the lights are coming on now. Away we go, and it's a decent start then. Looks like we're going to pass Russell here then straight off the line, and we'll just now have to tuck into slipstream here and just hope that we can get through his first chicane unscathed. Thought about having a look there, but we were just never going to get through there without any kind of contact or getting pushed over the apex there, so had to back out of it. And well, we nearly lost his place there to Raikkonen, but we managed to stay ahead of him then, so only 1 place gained, but it's just so hard to actually make up any places there because of how narrow it is into the first corner. We're going to have a look though into the second chicane here then on Giovinazzi, and it looks like we have done just enough then to squeeze past in then and move ourselves up into 14th, so making some steady progress there then, and yeah, a couple of places gained, so that'll hopefully set us up a bit better then for the race now then, as we round the final corner then. And we've actually got a car in the pits there, Pierre Gasly, so I guess he's got damage there, as we're in the slipstream then of a lot of cars here down the pit straight. We'll see if we can get on here into turn 1, as we have a very late look here at Romain Grosjean, but it does look like he's seen us there and we're going to get past him here, and indeed we do then, up into 12th, so it's not turned out too badly for us then in the end. We're up into 12th place, 4 places gained. So we see then a replay of the start, and it was a very, very even start there from most of the field by looks of things. Didn't really see anyone get particularly outstanding starts there or particularly bad ones, and it was relatively clean by looks of things into the first corner, and we just about managed to avoid making any contact there with Raikkonen, but yeah, managed to get the place off him there then, or maintain it I should say, because we passed Russell I believe it was there to make up a position. I think this is going to be the one bit of contact then. Pierre Gasly, we saw him in the pits on the end of lap 1, and this was why then just too hot into turn 1 there and run into the back of Perez and broke his front wing. And I think that was the one bit of action that really happened into the first corner there. We made a move on Giovinazzi, and then at the beginning of lap 2 we made a move on Grosjean as well, and it was nice to actually be left some space for once there. Then as we skip on to the end of lap 2 now, then we'll see if we can now take the second Haas there of Kevin Magnussen as well. And it does look like then he's already used up all his ERS there, because the light was flashing, so that really made it a bit easier for us there, and we breezed past him then and up into 11th place. Charles has not made up any progress then by the looks of things. He's still in 9th position, so certainly not where he'd want to be there, and looks like we've still got plenty of work to do then in this race if we're going to get a good result for the team here. As we're on the back now then of Stroll, and we just want to keep on making these overtakes, keep on moving our way up the field here, and we'll see what we can do then. We're going to have DRS now then, and we're getting a fantastic searching off of Stroll here, reaching 220 mile an hour here down the pit straight as he goes defensive. We'll stay on the racing line, see what we can do. We're running outside into the first corner, we get the inside line for turn 2, and we are up then into the points now. Both cars in the points, but unfortunately it's the bottom 2 positions of the points there. As we completed the move then, had to be careful there not to run into the back of Charles as well, so had to manage that as well there as we sent it running outside. And now we join then what is now, I guess, a 5-car train, which us and Stroll have joined onto the back of here, with Kvyat leading the way. We've got Leclerc and Albon both with DRS here battling for position. Looks like Kvyat has managed to maintain it then, despite not having DRS there, but it's still Leclerc and Albon side by side in front of us here. We'll try and join in on it if we can. We're going to have a good run here then around Curva Grande, as we're trying to get in the switching with our teammate here. We're just trying to decide which way we're going to go here. I was thinking Leclerc would go to the inside here, but no, he decided to just squeeze us a bit there on the outside, and we had to back out of it then, and we all maintain our position then for the time being. As we skip on to the next lap where we still haven't made any progress, so it's again a little bit frustrating. We want to try and get the move sooner rather than later, or else those cars up in front are going to pull away. We do have a bit of a chance here though, because Kvyat locked it big time into Parabolica, and now Albon's got a good run, Leclerc's got a good run. They're going to go 3 wide, and in fact we're going to make it 4 wide here down the pit straight at Monza. 2 Ferraris and an AlphaTauri and a Red Bull here into the first corner. We have made it through past all of them. We got a warning, but apparently the overtake was fine, and Leclerc has joined us as well then, although he's still side by side with Albon behind us. But wow, that was a massive risk that we took there then. In front of the Tifosi, we were 4 wide, and it all started because of Kvyat making a big lock up there then into the final corner, and that just put everyone on the back of him. And we see then it was Leclerc made the move on Albon first, but then they both realised they had the run on Kvyat, and then I saw that I had the run on all of them, and yeah, just had to hope that no one made any kind of move across there. And well, we got away with it then, and we both moved up to the front of that group then, so it worked out for us in the end. But that could have ended in an absolute disaster for us there. As we see then on board from Kvyat, he made the mistake, and I think he just knows at this point that he's going to be paying for it here then, as just car after car is just going to just breeze past him here. You can't even see us there really until the last second, where we just suddenly pop up there in the lead of this group then. You see on board from Albon, he had the best run initially, but then he's going to get swamped on either side here by 2 Ferraris coming down the pit straight. And well, we've seen this before then, the 2 Ferraris almost squeezing a Red Bull there, but thankfully no contact this time, and we all made it through and we got the position, although we obviously did get a warning for track limits. As we now close it to the next group now then, after a few laps, which we managed to build up quite a gap because of all the battling behind us there, but we're now going to be called in for our pit stop on this lap, because we've now closed it to the back of this next group with Perez, Ocon and Verstappen here. So we'll see now then if we can make up any more progress here. We're in the pits on the same lap as all of them here then, so we'll hope for a good stop and maybe we can jump someone here in the pits. It's a decent start from us as a team, and Ocon then looks like has lost out there because he was behind, well, he was ahead of Verstappen I should say, but he has managed to be jumped there then in the pits. So Looked like a good stop there from Red Bull. Maybe Renault had to hold slightly, and yeah, that has not worked out for him well. Then we stay where we were then, although we had a fantastic run here out of the pits into turn 1, but couldn't quite make it work there, and made a little bit of contact there with the Renault driver, but thankfully we did not get any damage from that. As yeah, I think I was just a little bit slow here initially getting the medium tyres up to temperature, because I did drop back a little bit, but we are still in 7th place then once all these pit stops play out, so we are still looking at a potential 4th place here, or maybe even a podium, because Ricciardo isn't that far up the road either. So if we can clear this group, then we may well still be in with a chance later on, but it really depends on how quickly we can get well through this group, which isn't really a group anymore because Ocon has been dropped, and that is actually good news for us because he was staying ahead of us because he had the DRS, and well, now he isn't, and he should be a much easier target here to overtake, as we just gained so much more straight line in terms of straight line speed down that straight. And yeah, we're going to get the movement done now then into the first corner, and we're up into 6th place, and hopefully now we can catch those 2 cars that are really starting to pull away in front of us then. And you can just see from the helicopter cam the difference in speed with everything turned up, rich fuel mix, overtake mode, and the DRS there. And yeah, it was a very easy move there, even if Ocon did come back us a bit on the brakes there. Skip into lap 21 now then, where we're catching back up to this group, but we were bringing Ocon with us as well then, so yeah, that fight certainly isn't over then, as we catch up to the back of Perez now then, as he's still battling with Verstappen here then, down towards the first chicane, and Racing Point they're going to try and go right outside and get the inside line for turn 2, and it looks like he may well have just made it stick there, although Verstappen does get a good exit then. We've got a good run again on the pair of them, so we're going to try and go 3 wide here into Curva Grande. That is exactly what we're going to try and do, but we've made a bit of contact there with Perez there, and we've had to go on the grass there, and we've backed out of it. Perez is still going to make the move stick here then as Verstappen locks up, and well, we get all out of shape there on the exit, and now Ocon is going to be pressuring us once again here. So yeah, that didn't work out too great for us there. We maybe shouldn't have gone for such an ambitious move, but now Ocon is trying to pass into the second Lesmo, which really wasn't going to work there, I don't think, but it's just completely compromised both of us in the end, so I'm not sure he's done that, and yeah, we've dropped to second behind now then, which is a bit frustrating. Into Ascari, and we've got now 3 warnings in this race. Obviously we had one when we made that triple overtake, and we've got another one somewhere else as well, so yeah, that's only put us under threat now then from Ocon, and it's also put us under threat from Charles as well, because he's only a few seconds behind as well, so we're going to have to watch out for that gap now. As we see the replay then, and yeah, we've seen before then Alonso in a Ferrari with 2 wheels on the grass there, and the same thing happened again, although I think this time Perez did actually leave a space and we just sort of drove into him a little bit there. We didn't really judge it too well, and despite the contact, Perez still managed to complete his own move there and get up a place and up into 4th. But yeah, things have just got a lot harder for us now then with that penalty. We got Leclerc 3.6 behind, and we're going to have to watch out for him as well now then, as we've got a yellow flag up in front of us, and Mercedes going slowly there up in front. It's Lewis Hamilton out of the Italian Grand Prix from the lead, and the crowd are going to be going absolutely wild because he was set to take a huge lead in the championship, and it's all turned on its head once again. This crazy season continues, and well, Hamilton then doing everything right up at the front. Once again, Mercedes doing everything right up at the front, and it's fallen away once again. It looks like Bottas will now finally get some go right for him this weekend, well, this season, but still, that is just unbelievable. Once again, the 1-2 has been thwarted, and once again, everything has just turned on its head in the championship. Lewis Hamilton out of the race, and Bottas, after the season he's had, won't believe his luck then, as he cruises past his teammate's wounded car. And well, we're up into 5th place for the time being, but it's looking like we will be dropping down to 6th, and we're going to have to watch out as well then for Charles as well then, because we can't really afford to make any kind of mistakes here, or else we're going to lose a place to him as well now then. And this is now technically a battle for the podium, but sadly we're not really part of it. But I was thinking, you know, if I could just pass Perez here then, and maybe if he could get into a bit of a scrap with Ocon, then we may well have a chance of building up the gap here. So that was my thinking here, as we got it all wrong through a first chicane there, but we still may well have a good run here down towards the second one then, as we are certainly reeling the Racing Point back in here then. He goes defensive into the second chicane. We think about running around the outside, but that just wasn't going to work there. And now Perez is well out of shape, and that puts us out of shape as well. Ocon's right there as well. He's going to capitalise. He's up the inside into the first Lesmo. He's now going to be inside line for the second one as well. And we made contact there. Thankfully, it doesn't seem to have been any kind of damage, but still, this is just hurting us so badly. And Leclerc is just whittling down that gap now then. And even just our 6th position now is in danger here, as we do at least manage to maintain the position over Ocon. But yeah, this is starting to really unravel for us then. Obviously, we've had some good fortune with Hamilton DNFing, but yeah, it's starting to fall apart in terms of, you know, what we're going to actually get from this race in terms of where we really should be. And yeah, I think maybe I shouldn't have fought Perez too hard here, because he ended up just slowing all of us down here, and that allowed Ocon to also make the move as well, although we did at least gain that back later on. As we get to the final lap now then, I couldn't catch up to Perez again. I just could not shake off Ocon all race, and frustratingly Leclerc was very quick on this final lap, and he got the gap down under 3 seconds. So unless we can do something spectacular here in the final sector, it looks like we're going to lose a place to him as well now then. As yeah, I think, as I said, I think I maybe shouldn't have fought Perez before. I should have just tried to settle for 6th here, and yeah, maybe just not tried to fight it so much. But still, it could have been worse today, I think. We come to the line then, it's not what we want, but it will at least be a 7th place finish.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
We have now had 9 different winners from the first 11 races of this season, and well, it's the reigning world champion who becomes the 9th different winner, which is even more remarkable than a disastrous season up to this point. But he takes the win on the fast lap today then, after his teammates DNF. Ricciardo, a fantastic weekend, pin there in 2nd, and Verstappen there up in 3rd, so that's going to have done him some good in the championship today then. Another solid weekend for Perez, and just a strong weekend overall there for Renault, with Ocon up in 5th. Leclerc is the lead Ferrari in the end then in 6th by just over a tenth of a second to us in the end. Albon, his good run of form there comes to an end. He's back down to 8th position, and Fiat and Norris then round out the points. I mean, McLaren once again nowhere, but Norris is quite in the points impressively there. And we see Lewis Hamilton, and crucially the one retirement today then, having took pole and led the whole way. And this is what it's done to the standings. And Verstappen then moves to the top of the table with a 4-point lead over Leclerc. Hamilton 10 behind, and we are still right in there as well, 19 behind. But I feel like we just keep on missing some chances to really get ourselves into it. Like, we're just always sort of just on the outskirts slightly, but not really doing enough to properly get ourselves up there into the fight. We just seem to be stuck in 4th place at the moment. Bottas then, all of a sudden, with just that one result, he may not be out of it yet. He's 53 behind, and with the way the season's going, if he can get into a good run of form, he could still be part of this. You never know. Albon is still there, Perez is still sort of there as well. Ricciardo's really having a strong season as well there, up in 8th. And now we still lead the way then. It could have been so much worse for us today, but obviously that Mercedes DNF there has really helped us out again. Red Bull have closed in, they're 29 behind us, and yet Racing Point then finally overtake AlphaTauri to move up to 4th. Renault are ahead of McLaren, and then it's still Williams, Haas and Alfa Romeo down at the bottom.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. How do you think this team will be feeling after that result? It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it? Thank you for your time.
Unsurprisingly, not a good weekend at all for us in the rivalry. Bottas there with 5 points in that one, and yeah, he builds up quite a lead then in this rivalry, and it'll be hard to overcome that then in the final 3 races of this rivalry, I guess. We do at least gain some acclaim then today, so yeah, managed to salvage something, I guess, from this weekend. And I mean, we did make up 9 places in the end from where we started, so a success in that sense. But I mean, we really need to sort out some of our qualifyings, because yeah, these races keep on being sort of like rescue missions for our weekend, when we really should be up there from the start and we'd have more of a chance, like in Hungary for example, where we managed to, you know, start in a good position and get on the podium. We need to do more of that. But yeah, 5 races to go. We are still very much in the championship fight, so yeah, we still very much got a good chance of turning things around then. And that is it then for this weekend. Hope you enjoyed this race. If you did, really appreciate a like on the video, and I hope to see you next time then for the Singapore Grand Prix.